While most biopharma companies cannot accurately measure sustainability ROI, it is the top priority of 62% of them over the next 5 years. To discuss this, we have Raymond Chow from Cytiva. Raymond, based on your research, what changes have occurred in the biopharma industry in the recent months?
First of all, Cytiva published the Global Biopharma Sustainability Review in collaboration with Financial Times in August. In that report, we interviewed more than 800 biopharma leaders, a third of them at board and C-suite level across 18 different countries, and 6 of those are based in Asia Pacific. I'll highlight 3 of those that came through as a majority of what they all agreed upon. First, sustainability is rising to the top of the global agenda. Why is that? Well, regulations are evolving, and many of the investors, customers, including many of us out there who are the users of many of these biopharma drugs, as well as talent who are joining many of these biopharma industries, demand more from the transparency of these companies on their sustainability efforts. Secondly, we also saw companies with proven commitment to sustainability having seen positive changes in 5 major areas: in their revenues, the profit, the share price, the brand reputation, as well as the talent attraction to joining these industries. And thirdly, there's still room for much of the supplier and industry cooperation collaboration to further trigger systemic changes. In the review that we did, 69% of these participants said that the weak collaboration across the end-to-end supply chain is causing a huge barrier in making a lot of these changes more sustainable. If I take us a lot closer to home, I'll share a few spots where we did these interviews within the APAC region and the results of these sustainability initiatives. In Australia, in India, and in South Korea, more than 45% of the companies that we interviewed found that they improved their relationships with their regulators, both globally as well as in the countries that they operate in. And 42% of the companies in India have reduced their costs by adapting more efficient manufacturing processes and a lot of the work that they do within the companies that they work in. So all these have proven that the changes are taking place, and we're seeing this to be a major issue that is being tackled across the industry.
Now, Raymond, what specific challenges do biopharma companies face in measuring sustainability progress?
First of all, the weak collaboration across the entire end-to-end supply chain. That is from the suppliers down to the manufacturing plants, as well as to the supply chain in delivering a lot of the biopharm drugs out into the market. Second, the lack of collaboration on the sustainability initiatives from suppliers. There is a difference between the first and the second, and I'll elaborate a little bit more later. And finally, in terms of the technology limitations, that's limiting the measurement that can happen in the sustainability efforts that the companies are taking. In the first instance, the collaboration from the end-to-end supply chain is allowing us to mitigate a lot of the impact to the planet. And much of the sustainability efforts have taken place in many of the companies, but we are yet to actually see a lot of the progress because we are unable to measure a lot of that. But we at Cytiva have taken efforts to make sure that we're able to also make an effort to change a lot of that. One of the examples that I want to share is how we were able to fully eliminate polystyrene from our packaging, and that's supposed to take into full effect by the end of 2025. Cytiva worked with a company, Temperpack, a leading provider of cold chain packaging made with renewable paper and cornstarch. And the great thing about this is the insulation maintains the necessary low temperatures in shipping boxes so that we're able to meet the temperature requirements for biopharma supplies. The second area that I wanted to share was in the lack of collaboration on sustainability initiatives from suppliers. There's a very, very deep worry that putting out these sustainability initiatives will create a lot of lack of competitiveness that they already have, and they lose a lot of that competitive edge that they have. And so we need to onboard a lot of these suppliers. And what we did at Cytiva was to onboard a lot of these suppliers, about 1,000 of these suppliers, to EcoVadis, which is a worldwide trusted provider of ESG ratings to reduce Scope 3 carbon emissions. And finally, in terms of the technology limitations that we have, More than 50% of our respondents in the review say that technology such as virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, data analytics platforms are the top technologies that can enable them to measure. But these are not in a mature state, and this is actually causing a lot of the challenges that they're facing in measuring a lot of the progress that they have.
With that, Raymond, why do most companies cannot accurately measure their sustainability ROI?
From the findings of the review, which showed that more than three-quarters, about 76% of the companies that we interviewed say that the approach to measuring and forecasting the financial impact of sustainability initiatives is either not at all or somewhat inaccurate. 42% lack confidence in their ability to accurately measure the upstream and downstream environmental impact of their business, and about 68% of them say that a lack of data to measure performance in this area is a barrier to achieving overall sustainability targets. To overcome, the first factor is how do we get data? Unless companies have data that proves the benefit of investing in sustainability-focused activities, they may become disengaged or deprioritize these activities and these initiatives, and will be forced to act by what governments and regulators say, and that reduce the impact of their sustainability actions. Second reason is it's very complex to measure Scope 3 emission reductions. Scope 3 emissions include the indirect emissions created across the entire biopharma value chain, from the very beginning to the very end, and it's very difficult to know exactly whether these measurements are correct or whether they are even accurate at all. Measuring and controlling such a wide network is easier said than done. As in all industries, the biopharma industry may struggle to accurately measure their emissions, but the alternative of not doing anything could prove catastrophic for our planet. Nevertheless, sustainability is not just desirable, it's a business imperative. And as governments across the world prioritize emissions reduction, biopharma industries must overcome these challenges to future-proof their operations.
Thank you for sharing your insight with us, Raymond.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Again, that was Raymond Chow, Vice President for Commercial in APAC at Cytiva. For more news, please visit esgbusiness.com.